How many times a day do you think somebody looks into their own past? Somebody uses their mental energy. Somebody robs themselves of the present moment to focus their energy on their past. So over the course of one day, 24 hours, usually 16 to 18 hours of that day that we're actually awake, how much of this time, how many times do we intentionally focus on the past? Whether it's 15 years, 10 years, 1 year, 6 months, 1 month, or even yesterday, even one day removed. How many times a day do you think we focus this energy on the past? From my own experience, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's at least 10 times a day that we focus our energy on the past, that we dwell on the past, that we are consumed by the past. Why is that? Why do we take the present moment and shift our energy, shift our focus, shift our mind from this present to the past, to what already happened, to what is already done with, to something that we cannot bring back to this present moment? Why? Why do we allow ourselves, why do we allow our minds to go from here and now, in this moment, to there, the past, what is already done and over with? In my opinion, there are two paths, there are two directions that we can take when we shift our mental focus, our mental energy from the present moment to the past. That first path is rumination, which is pretty much considered wasted time. Now, why would you call it wasted time? What does that mean? Well, if you think about it, rumination really just means that you're looking at the past in the form of regrets. You're looking in the past and what you could have done differently, how you could have acted differently, how you could have spoken differently in certain situations. And that's a very problem-centered outlook and mindset, because you're just focusing on all these negative aspects surrounding your past. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? I should have done this. It would have afforded me this opportunity, or I could have been here in my life and not where I am right now. It creates all of these issues within yourself. It creates all of this dissonance because you're focusing all of your energy on your past in the form of regrets, and it's seeping into present day. It's seeping in so much that it's creating all this frustration, all this misery, all this anger, because you're looking at your past and saying, why did I do that? I could have been here in my life. I could have been married. I could have kids. I could have this job, this much money, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't help. It doesn't serve you. But we can get so caught up in all of these what ifs and how we could have done this differently, or how we should have acted in this way and that way. We get so consumed with that. And let me tell you, I am an expert in rumination. I'm an expert in focusing on regrets. I did it for so many years during active addiction and right now being clean. I would look back and say, why did I do that? Why did I let this happen? Why did I act this way? These questions would swirl around in my head. And I approached it with such a negative mindset. That's the key issue. I would look at my past in such a negative light that all I was allowed to do was create pity for myself. I wallowed in self-pity because I thought that because I made some wrong decisions that this was my life. I'm the reason why my life is this way, and there's no way of changing it, and if you would have made this decision, you would have been here, and if you would have made that decision, you would have been there, and you would have had this and that and the third. You can spiral. You can spiral down into a deep hole when you think like this, because misery begets misery, and you continue to go deeper into this miserable state, into this angry state, into this frustrated state. And that's all due to the fact that you look at your past in the form of regrets, in the form of how you should have done things differently. But that doesn't serve you. That doesn't serve me. That doesn't serve any of us. Looking in the past in the negative light as a form of regrets, as a form of ruminating, does not serve any of us one bit. And the second path is introspection. Introspection is when you look at your past, when you reflect on your past with a level of curiosity, with a level of wonderment. You dissect what has happened in your past almost from a objective point of view. You don't try to look at it as a negative thing. You don't look at it as a positive thing. You just look at it for what it was. And from there, you try to become a better person because you try to learn from your past. You try to understand why you did certain things, why you acted certain ways, why you spoke this way to a certain person. And then if it doesn't serve you, then you learn how to be a better person, how to act differently, how to speak differently. Introspection focuses more on what can be done. It focuses more on evolution and growth. It doesn't look at your past as regrets or negative, but more so as teachable moments, lessons that can be learned. And that's very important because if we don't learn from our past mistakes, then we're doomed to repeat them. So if we look at our past, if we take time to be introspective of our past, then we will be able to afford ourselves this level of growth. We'll be able to afford ourselves a possibility of evolving, of becoming better versions of ourselves on a daily basis, even on a moment-to-moment basis. Because if you take time to look into your past, in the path of introspection, then you can learn and you can literally grow and evolve in that moment. You can look back at something that may have happened in your past, see it for what it is, not playing a negative or positive, just seeing for what it is, what happened in that situation, taking from it what you learned now that you're looking back on it and using it to move forward, using it as a building block to build upon your foundation that you have already started to create. So be introspective. Look back in a way that isn't negative, in a way that doesn't focus solely on regret, because regret does not serve you in this present moment. Being so deep, so consumed by regret does not allow any of us to grow. It will keep you stuck, more so in the past, because like I said, this form of rumination and focusing on regrets creates misery, and the misery just spirals. It makes you spiral into a deeper and deeper misery. But with this form of introspection, going down the path of introspection will allow you to learn. It will allow you to create more growth within your life because you're looking at the past as just a learning experience, as a teachable moment. That's the difference. One does not serve you. Rumination, wasted time, focusing on regrets does not serve you. Introspection, looking at things from an objective light, learning from them, regardless if it was a bad situation or a good situation, taking from it what you learned and using that for the present moment and moving forward does serve you, does serve me, does serve all of us. So when you're looking back on your past, try to come from a place of introspection, not rumination, not regret focused. You want to look at it in a way that you can grow from. that you can learn from, that you can create evolution in your life, that you can create a life that is built upon a foundation of happiness, of being joyous, of being free. Because the regrets, like I said, the rumination keeps you stuck, keeps you locked, keeps you imprisoned in misery, in self-doubt, in frustration and anger. When you remove yourself from that, you set yourself free. You allow yourself to be a willing participant in your own evolution, in your own growth. So make the wise choice. Make the wise decision. I know it's not easy, believe me, because a lot of times being engulfed, wallowing in our own self-pity feels good. I've been there. I've been in a deep puddle of self-pity. But we don't want that because it doesn't serve us. We want to be able to lift ourselves up. We want to be able to free ourselves from past discretions, from past mistakes, from past challenges and obstacles that we created for ourselves, and no longer let that consume us. So learn from it. Understand it for what it is, and then use that. Make that the fuel for your fire to move forward, to become a better person, to become a better version of yourself. Because the past is the past. It's done with. It's over with. But it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to all of us to either use the past as a teachable moment to build upon, or to use the past as a way to keep ourselves stuck. So the onus is on us, the individual, to make that choice. So when you feel like you might be going down that path of rumination, wasted time on regrets, stop yourself. Stop yourself from going down that path, because once you start going down it, there might not be any turning back until you look and wake up from a daze and say, wow, like, where have I been for the past 5 minutes? I went all the way in this direction. Doesn't serve you. Use introspection as a driving force in your life today. Use introspection to help you grow. Use introspection to make yourself a better person. And I might sound like a broken record, but sometimes we need to hear this more than once. Sometimes I need to hear this more than once, because I need to continuously remind myself to go down the path of introspection and not rumination. I need to look back on my past in a way that helps me grow, in a way that allows me to become better, a better person all around, a better person in my interactions with people, a better person with interactions between me and myself and I. You see, it's not just about how we interact with other people. It's about how we interact with ourselves. So be mindful, be consciously aware of which path you're prone to go down. If you know yourself, and you should really, truly know yourself, and if you know during your day-to-day life, during certain situations, you know you go down this path of rumination, if you go down this path of focusing on regrets and what you could have done differently, then you need to literally say stop in your brain, in your mind, because you know that if you continue down that path of rumination, you're going to spiral out of control. You're going to spiral into a deep, dark hole of misery, because that's one of your habits. Your brain is habit forming, and if it's been doing it for quite some time, that's what it's used to. That's where it's used to going. So you need to change how you think. You need to change your thought process. So if you know that certain situations bring you down that path, you need to physically, in your mind, which really, you just need to stop. Even if you're doing something, maybe physically, like I said, just stop. And in your brain, say stop. And try, really, really try to go down the path of introspection. Try not to look at a certain past event or situation with regret or how you could have done it differently. But look at it in a way of curiosity, in a way of wondering and being objective and analyzing and dissecting it in a way that allows you to take from it something that you can learn. Take from it a teachable moment. Take something from it that will allow you to grow. But it's up to you, the individual, to really be on your own case, to really be honest and true with yourself in those moments, to really understand where you might be going. If you're going down that path of rumination, if you're going down that path of regret, stop it. It doesn't serve you. Introspection will allow you to become a better person. Introspection can serve you because regardless if the situation was negative or positive in the past, you can remove those feelings from it and just understand what happened. If it was negative, you learn not to do that ever again. If it was positive, you can take that and use it to build upon. But it's all about the path. And it's all about you being mindful and aware about going down the correct path. And that correct path is always introspection. There is never a time, there is never an instance where you should go down the path of rumination, where you should focus and harp and spend all of this time and mental energy on regrets. Because regrets do nothing for you. Regrets serve no purpose. They just leave you stuck in a state of misery, in a state of anger and frustration. And no one wants that. At the end of the day, no one wants to feel miserable. That's not why we were put on this earth. We were put here to enjoy this human experience. So remove that path. There are two paths like I described, but there's only one right path to ever take, and that's introspection. That's looking back on your life, on past situations with a level of curiosity, with a level of just dissection and seeing what happened and what you could have done differently, yes, but not in a way of regret, not in a way of being upset with the decision you made. When you look at it differently from a point of introspection, you're just saying, maybe I should have handled this situation differently. Next time, I will do it differently so that outcome doesn't happen. With rumination, you might look at it and be like, ugh, why'd I do this differently? I don't get it. And you almost play the pity card. You have pity. You're just upset. With introspection, you use it as a form of growth. You use it to fuel your fire. You use it to motivate you to be better. So be better, do better, and remind yourself on a daily basis, on a moment-to-moment basis if necessary, to always choose the path of introspection, to always choose a path of looking into your past with a level of curiosity, with a level of wonderment, and take from it lessons. Take from it these experiences that you can use that serve you moving forward, that serve you in your evolution in this life. I really hope that something I said today resonated with you, because for so long, I went down that path of rumination. I constantly lived in a life full of regret, in a life full of just wondering, why did I do that? I should have done this differently. So stuck in the past, so consumed with the past, that it seeped into my present day. It didn't allow me to enjoy the present. And that's all we truly have, is this present moment, is this moment right now, right here. And when you continuously look at your past and all of these regrets, then you soil, then you diminish, then you tarnish the present moment. So be introspective. Go down that path of introspection. Yes, you can look into your past, but take it for what it is, in the past. Don't stay there. Don't stay stuck there. Look at it from like the outside looking in. Like you're here, the past is there, and you're just taking a look at it objectively, understanding that it happened. The situation's over with. So you can't do anything differently. And there's no point in saying I should have done this differently or what have you, unless you're taking that and using it in a positive light so you don't make that same mistake again. But look at it for what it is. Look at it as a teachable moment, as a lesson learned. Don't stay stuck in regrets. Don't waste your time, waste your energy, waste this present moment on the past. It's just not worth it. I'm telling you from past experiences. I'm telling you from a person who lived most of his life on that path of rumination for so long. During active addiction and during early recovery. Even when I was clean, I still looked back at my past and regretted so much because I thought that I wasted so much time. Maybe I did. But what can I do? I can't change any of it. I can just use it. I can use what happened to help me become a better person. And that's when I became introspective. That's when I looked back and started to dissect what happened and analyze what happened in a fashion that would allow me to grow. Not in a fashion that would allow me to stay stuck in the past, in regrets, in misery, in anger, in frustration. No. That doesn't serve me. And I know it doesn't serve me anymore. So even when there's a glimpse, even when there's a tiny bit of me that wants to go down that path, I stop myself. Because I know where it leads. It takes me out of this moment, back into the past, feeling sorry for myself, and doesn't serve me. Instead, I use that past, I use my past as something to wear like a badge of honor. You know, we all have a past. Some are more checkered than others, but who really cares at the end of the day? Because my past isn't who I am anymore. It doesn't fully define me. And I don't want to look at it as something that can run me today, because it doesn't. I've learned from it. I've grown from it, but it doesn't define me. What defines me is how I overcame these obstacles, how I overcame these challenges in the past, how I persevered, how I became so dedicated and motivated to become a better person, to become the person that I am today. And I continue to work on myself on a day-to-day basis. I continuously devote time and effort to become a better person. But I never, ever, ever, ever allow my past to define me anymore. It's a part of my life, yes, but it does not define me. So if anybody tries to put me in a category or a box or label me based on my past, well, good luck, because I don't subscribe to that, and neither should you. You should not allow anybody to define you by your past, what happened in your past. That is not cool. It's not. Because you should know that you are not your past. It happened, yes, but you are not your past. Focus on what you want to become. Focus on the present moment and how you want to evolve and how you want to grow. Do not focus on your past, especially especially if you're going to focus on the regrets and focus on what you should have done differently. If you're going to be introspective, if you're going to look at it and try to learn from it and grow from it as a objective participant of your past, then that's okay. Then that can serve you. But do not, I repeat, do not waste your time looking into your past, dwelling on your past, being consumed by your past, if it's just going to be about woe is me, if it's going to be about regrets, if you're going to put yourself in this huge, huge hole of misery and self-pity. Don't. Just don't. Do not waste your time. Devote your time. Devote your energy. Devote your focus to be introspective. To learn from your past. To gain knowledge from your past so that you can use it in the present and help yourself become a better person moving forward, one day at a time. Introspection, take that path. Rumination, let it go. So I'm pretty sure I just went off on a few tangents, and I know I was talking a lot and I might have went a little bit too far in one direction, brought myself back, and then went back in the same direction. To be honest, it all comes from a place of love, because I want everybody to be able to feel happy. I want everybody to be able to feel joy and to feel this freedom. And that can happen if you take the path of introspection, not if you take the path of rumination. Rumination will leave you stuck focusing on regrets, stuck in a state of misery. So don't do that to yourself. And I don't want to see anybody do that to themselves. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be joyous. I want everybody to feel free. So sometimes when I get caught up in a topic or a idea or a concept, I just keep going off. I might, repeat myself a few times or say certain things, but just a little bit differently. I don't know. But it all comes from a place of love. It all comes from a place of kindness. It all comes from a place of compassion for each and every human being in this world. So take that path of introspection. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to not be a prisoner of your past. Be alive and free in this moment so you can enjoy this moment, and so you could build upon this moment each moment thereafter. Have an amazing day, everybody. Have a blessed day. Always be grateful. Always remember to be grateful for this moment. For this moment right now, whether it's positive or negative, is all we truly have. So be grateful for it. Be extremely thankful for it. And smile. Always remember to smile. I'll talk to everybody soon. Peace.